Yes. Alderman Conway, Alderwoman Flowers,
Present.
Alderman Moore, Alderman Vaccaro, Alderman Cone, Alderwoman Howard, Alderman Muhammad,
Present.
Chairwoman Davis. Present. 3 present. Thank you. So I had a proposed agenda today to introduce the committee members to you. And so we have 2 additional committee members. And I'm gonna allow them to say who they are and their terms here.
In my terms here.
Yes.
We can do it better than you, I guess. Okay. I'm Alderwoman Deon Flowers, 2nd Ward. And I'm in my 5th term. Been here 18 years. I have been on the Transportation Committee before, so I'm happy to be back.
Great.
Alderman John Collins Muhammad, 21st Ward. I am a freshman. And all this is very new.
Very good. And for those of you who don't know, I'm Alderwoman Marlene Davis, the 19th Ward, and I'm currently serving my 3rd full term. So I'd like to, I'm gonna skip past we were going to establish a regular meeting time, but we'll skip past that till we have a full committee here. But what I'd like to do is have it informational, because at least when we have the next meeting, the 3 of us will have some knowledge to help the other committee members in moving forward a little bit faster. So I'd like to still have a review of Board Bill number 2, and who's gonna do that?
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the committee. We have before you, as the chairman said, Board Bill number 2, but before we get into that, we have some guests with us today. The airport director is here.
Okay.
Her assistant director for finance, Antonio Strong, is here. We also have our underwriter, what's the right word? Senior manager, Joyce Opinski is here from Stern Brothers, and our co-bond counsel, Tom Lowther, and Angela Odom is here from Armstrong Teasdale. The board bill you have before you, there's a packet of information we have for you today. We're pleased to present to you a board bill which will do 2 things. It will refund approximately $240 million of existing debt the airport has from 2007. And it allows the airport, there's a new money piece of $70 million for projects, as you see on the bottom of page 2, that will fund a number of new projects that the airport would like to do. If you look at page number 3, you'll see that the bonds become current on July 1, which means we would like to get through the process sooner than later to allow us to price the bonds sometime around that June 6th or in the first week of June, which will allow us to close by the end of June so that we can call the outstanding bonds July 1. We can close anytime, or I'm sorry, we can call the bonds anytime after July 1, but in order to maximize the savings for the airport, we would like to do that consistent with when the bonds are callable on July the 1st. If you look at the next page, this kind of gives you an idea for the refunding piece of what we're looking at. As I said to you before, we're looking to refund approximately $240 million of 2007 bonds. And if you look at the lower right-hand corner, the big number, we will actually be able to reduce debt service for the airport by approximately $29 million. That number will potentially get bigger or smaller depending on what the market will bear the day that we price. And so it'll be a tremendous help to the airport's debt structure if we're able to do that. The last page of this presentation kind of gives you an idea of just the team that's working on this. It gives you a listing of who is senior manager, co-manager, and who are our bond and underwriter counsel, and who are the city's financial advisors on this transaction. So that's in a nutshell, and I've gone through very quickly what this is all about. We have Obviously, people that are much more versed in the details of this transaction with us today. Madam Chairman, if you and the committee members have questions.
There is a couple of things, just to kind of to give a broader view. We went through a new airport use and lease agreement with all of our airlines, a new 5-year use and lease agreement that was effective July 1 of last year. So we're just about to close out 1 year of it. When we entered into the new use and lease agreement, we had, one of the things that the airlines looked at going forward for the next 5 years is, you know, where is the airport in terms of being able to do some infrastructure needs that had been deferred for a long time based on the overall debt at the airport. The good piece was we got a 5-year, $170 million capital improvement program that was agreed upon and voted on by all the airlines. And at the time, I don't believe any of you were on the committee here at the time, but that use and lease agreement came through the Transportation and Commerce and obviously through an E&A and the Board of Aldermen as well. And in that, we had run the models with all of the airlines so that they could see what this debt refunding did and the value to the airport. We also ran for them the model of the sale of bond money for the capital improvement programs needed for infrastructure pieces at the airport. We're talking things like new boilers and new generators and some taxiway work, some road work in front of the terminal, some capital of improvement that was inclusive of snow brooms and a fire truck and the things that we needed just from an infrastructure standpoint. So the good piece is that the airlines we're actually very happy with the models that were run and looking at what their costs are at the airport. So they agreed to also partake in this overall $170 million. They knew that it would affect their rates and charges, and they approved that because they saw a positive outlook for the airport in terms of the financial stability and in the terms of their overall cost. So we just closed out the last year when we had seen kind of a high of our cost per in-plane passenger in that $14, $15 mark. We just closed out at $11.36 for last year. Is that the number?
$11.89.
$11.89.
Yeah.
And the projection, even with the refunding and with the new sale, is that by 2019 we'll be at $10.50 per in-plane passenger for a cost to the airlines. That's the number they look at. And one of the good things is that puts us kind of in the lower tier of cost among airports, where we had been a high-cost airport. We've been bringing that down. So this is also, I kind of share that because this is also supported by all of our airport tenants and had actually been voted on and approved in their use and lease agreement, knowing that this was a potential coming up.
One of the things I wanted to ask you, in your presentation here, what I do like is the summary of the preliminary refunding results. But what I would like, when we talk to the entire committee the next time, if we could just explain just a little bit more for all of them, the comparison of the true interest cost here and the average life, because that makes a lot of difference in bonding. And the more we know and understand it as we move forward with this committee, it'll be easier for us to do business. And so we're gonna kind of just, every time we meet, we're gonna have a new lesson.
Okay.
Okay? And so, and you have to understand where I come from. I served on a pension board for 12 years, president for 5, and we never voted on anything before I educated those members who were sitting there. So I just think it's better, it's easier, less conflict. And so, and most especially if you have an idea about something that we need to have a better understanding, we can take time in committee to have a longer explanation. I think it's critical.
Okay.
Okay?
And I think we're happy to answer some of those today if you would like. I mean,
We can get into some of that today, unless you'd rather defer to the.
I'd rather defer to the whole
Okay.
committee being here, so you don't
Okay.
have to do it twice. But I think that that's just really critical.
Okay.
A lot of times people think we're just doing things just because, but there's a method to the madness of dealing with bonds and making sure that you get the best return. And so I want to make sure that we all understand that.
Sure.
Okay. Then the next thing I wanted to do is I make sure that our committee members, if they had any questions at this time?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, Alderman?
No, ma'am.
All right. So we have about a 2-inch thick document here.
We'll be on Thursday.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna recommend, and I will be sending out a memo to all the committee members, we will put all this information in their mailboxes. We anticipate that they will have a chance to review it somewhat before the next committee meeting. We are going to reschedule for this Thursday at 11 o'clock, if that is convenient for you.
Well, we need to get it on the docket, so we'll make it convenient.
Okay.
So 11:30?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock Thursday. We'll send a notice out right away today
Okay,
to give people enough notice. And we're gonna require, in my memo, I'm gonna require them to bring these documents that are in their mailbox to the meeting.
okay.
Enough trees have been killed, we will do our best to save.
So you do not need us to reprint then?
No, there's no reason to reprint. They have it, they should bring it in with them. We'll remind them at least twice.
Okay,
So, we'll take care of it that way.
okay.
Okay? Okay,
Ways and Means is in here.
okay. So we'll need to go to the Kennedy room?
I think Ways and Means is gonna be over
Yeah.
here.
It's gonna be over
So,
here.
We'll be in the Kennedy.
We'll be in the
room.
Kennedy room.
That's correct, yeah, we're scheduled to testify on Thursday morning at 9, and I think there's a couple others
Yeah.
that Alderman Conway has lined up for that morning, so. yeah,
Right,
that's
we
true.
anticipate they should be done by 10 or 10:30.
Okay,
And the two of us are on Ways and Means. Actually, 5 members of this committee are on Ways and Means. At least we know they'll be here.
that'll be here.
Okay, so and that's what we were looking at in rescheduling. Yeah. You want? Okay.
Does that work?
We didn't have it.
Just, it isn't first read. It's just gonna be first read. This first read.
Right, okay.
Okay, all right.
That works.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
So is there anything else that I should cover? No? No? Anything else from you?
No, other than thank you for your time,
Thank
and
you.
we look forward to working with all of you on the committee, and
Okay, I see a question on here.
No. Point to a document.
All right, okay. All right, well, we'll consider this meeting adjourned, and we'll see you again on Thursday at 11 o'clock.